Hey guys, I am back, and here we are back with reading the Songs of War script, Season 2. We are moving on to the latter half of Season 2. Honestly, we're probably not even going to get through the whole thing in a single recording. Well, it'll probably take us like 3 hours to do. We're probably going to do two separate recordings of this and mesh it together into one video, but I have the exact same people as last time. Girl of Infinity, Nemuri, and Sanae 406. So they will also be joining us again. And you notice I have this gorgeous picture of Screaming Hogtown Bartender from Inspiration's video over top of the Word document for the script. No, that's not going to be there the whole time. I just put it on because the script has spoilers, and I had to put it on so I'd have a chance to warn you. And what a better image would I have put? It's the only logical image I could have put on there. The best image.
True that.
Anyway,
True that.
I'm just gonna warn you, this does indeed contain spoilers for Songs of War Season 2 and 1. It won't contain spoilers for Season 3 yet.
Oof.
But it will contain spoilers for the entire first season and the latter half. No, it will. The entire second season too. I can't think. Sorry, the entire first two seasons. So if you want to watch Season 1 and read the script for yourself, or if you want to watch us reacting to the script and read it at the same time, then watch the predecessor to this video. Okay, first watch the entire first season, then watch the predecessor to this video, and then come back to this. If I've made that clear enough. Yes, it's a lot. It is a lot. Anyway, I'm going to... You know what? I'm actually going to keep the image of the Hogtown Bartender here, but I'm not going to have it block the screen. I'm just going to move it off to the corner. There, he's going to be screaming at you the entire time. Okay, so... Spoiler! I warned you about spoilers, so now you can see them.
Yep.
So if you haven't turned away yet, it's your fault. I'm just being 100% with you.
Wow. Wow.
And...
Alright then.
So... Now, I'm going to actually start. Wait, does anyone want to do Tidesinger?
I think I did Tidesinger.
They offered to...
you did Tidesinger last time.
Oh. Yeah, I was offered that I did most of the lines in the last episode.
Yes.
Sorry, the last version, not the last episode.
Take Saxon.
Take Saxon, take Saxon. The predecessor to this video, and I did most of them, and the others did some of them. They offered to do a little bit more so that I wasn't too strained this time. I also do all of the gray text as well. Well, I don't do all of it. I ignore some of them. Lesser things, but the major events in gray text, I do all those as well as many of the lines. So I kind of needed a break. So my friends are kindly offering to take over some of the lines for me. I'll still probably do a lot, but anyway. So
okay.
Anyway, we're gonna start off and let's get right into the news. I mean the script.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, so it's Nemuri who does Rhea, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is still shocked about the Tidesinger being alive. I mean, I might be too.
The Tidesinger? How's that possible? During the Battle of Mount Valgrind, I fought with Ingressus and have been following him ever since. I can elaborate on the details later, but first I have a few questions of my own.
The Tidesinger walks away from them for a few steps and looks around curiously.
Where has the war gone? Where is King Render and the rest of the Alliance?
The Tidesinger turns back to them. Everyone looks around at each other, just as confused.
King Render died many years ago. The Great War is over.
The Tidesinger looks down and thinks, trying to hold in any sign of emotion.
I see.
Me when I'm reading anything Nemuri writes.
Yeah. Facts. Okay.
It is facts.
I see. Then it seems I have fallen out of time. Does Ingressus possess the other Prime songs?
Thankfully, no. Galleous and Darius relocated all the Prime songs recently to prevent this very issue. No one else knows where they are.
How old is Galleous now?
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh,
oh god.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Are we gonna get an age confirmation though? No.
Oh man. All right.
Aw.
Fallius is... Oh,
Rubbing
sorry.
it
I
in.
forgot to use the Sen voice. Fallius is dead as well. He died hiding the last prime. The Tidesinger looks even sadder.
Oh, he looks even.
Oh,
Then we
no!
okay. Then we. Oh, poor Tide Pod. Then we must make haste to ensure his death and many others were not in vain. Are you sure there is no one who might know where Thalius moved the prime songs to?
Sen knows, doesn't he? He was literally there when he gave
He
Solomon the
literally
prime.
the next
Did.
line.
Yeah.
Literally the next line.
Yeah.
Sen, just like, well, actually...
Gave it to a black potion market
The
dealer.
Tidesinger. Okay, so does
He gave it
anyone
to
know
a
where the
sketchy
prime
dude.
is? I mean, I don't really think... I mean, Fallius obviously knew what he was doing, so, like, Solomon may have seemed sketchy, but I really think he's more trustworthy than we're led to believe, because Fallius
Oh,
is
yes.
a professional.
Oh,
He
yes.
knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say
Okay,
anything.
say Ria's line.
No one. He didn't want to leave any trail for the Voltaris.
Actually, I know where one is. It's like the Tidesinger's like,
Okay.
does anyone
Sure
know where the
do.
prime songs are? And then Sen's like, well, this looks like a job for me.
Oh God. Okay, keep going.
Fallius hid the Mobilium prime song in Crown Peak. I was with him on the journey.
Then we ride to Crown Peak immediately.
The Tidesinger starts
Let's
walking
go.
up. Hold it right there.
Let's
We
go
follow
on an
Ria's
adventure.
orders.
Oh,
The
God.
Tidesinger stops and
Oh,
raises an
dang.
eyebrow, not
This is
necessarily
the
annoyed, just
Tidesinger.
curious.
I love him.
Grim.
Oh.
I love it when Nemuri does the grim noises. Onyx is right. It's your call, Captain. I turn back to Ria, who is still a bit shocked by the situation, but gives the order regardless.
Crown Peak is the next logical step. Let's move out.
Final shot of all the team, now including the Tidesinger. This is the Avengers
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
The real Avengers.
Yay!
Cut to the Ender
Yes.
Knights team.
Yes.
They're following the Eye of the End when it suddenly turns dark and falls in the dirt. Okay, if they're the Avengers, these are the Guardians of the Galaxy. They all stare at it in silence. It's Saxon. I love this line.
Saxon.
It's just, what?
Sanae.
Sanae, go.
What?
Gold.
Abigail goes over to it and picks it up.
Nailed it.
It's like there's a question mark on that line. Does she pick it up? Does she? Answer me.
I think so.
The script writers are like, does she actually pick it up though? Can someone answer me? I think that must have been a typo,
God,
but
I don't
still.
know.
And Denny says,
fortress.
Did something go wrong? She picks it up and thinks. I think this is Infin's line, actually.
Let's set up here for the night.
They're all around a fire.
No.
Denny is cooking something for Abigail. Luna is messing with the fire, much to Denny's disapproval.
Why is
He
just
turns
so
towards her.
cooking for her?
He turns...
Who knows?
Well, probably because he's a farmer.
True
He turns
that.
towards her, but
Yeah.
Allister sits beside her on the
There's
log.
a
He
bunch.
looks around and goes and sits down on this log. Saxon and Trevor on the third log. Saxon has an enchanting table in front of him and appears to be fiddling with it in his sword. I really am suspicious of Allister now because I saw his lines in the casting call when I auditioned.
Ah.
I did audition for Luke just audiobook actually. So that's a thing.
We don't talk about
Fine.
that. Yeah.
I'm just scared of
Oh,
Allister
no.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just keep
I-
reading. Keep reading. Keep reading.
So I guess this is it? This is the entire team? Your glowing eye seems to be taking a break.
Abigail pulls out the eye and sees it's no longer glowing. Saxon stands up and walks toward the fire. Well, he wasn't wrong.
Well, I'll be the first to formally introduce myself. My name is Saxon, and I specialize in potion brewing.
You're not talking about alteration potions, are you? Isn't that illegal? What sort of voice was that? What did I just do?
In all 6 kingdoms.
Great.
I need to keep doing that for Allister.
Oh my god. In all 6 kingdoms, it's legal, dangerous, and extremely difficult. Not a problem for me, though. Your pal Saxon has years of experience.
I bet
I love
Solomon
him.
trained
I love
him.
so much.
Solomon is his mentor. Probably has the Prime song. Saxon
Yeah,
is the
but
owner
it's
of the
missing.
Prime
Oh my
song.
god.
Solomon gave it to him.
This is how they cross over again.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't claim to be the best brewer, but I've made my fair share of potions, and I'm not just talking speed enhancements.
Saxon motions to Trevor, reminding him of the potion he gave to Trevor before. Poor
Oh,
Trevor.
God.
Once I made a potion of invisibility. I say once because I lost sight of my buyer and he never paid up. I
Everyone
love him.
smiles or chuckles. And Saxon is my boy. If he dies,
Oh my
I'll end
God.
myself. No,
No.
actually, I'll end the scriptwriters
Oh
and
my
then
God.
myself.
Oh God.
Trevor. I tried to do a light chuckle. Abigail
Oh,
also
God.
does it. This is a
I don't
great
know what I'm
scene.
doing.
Okay. No, wait. I got it.
Trevor's nickname.
So how about you, Speedy? Tell us about yourself.
The Hogtown bartender's face off to the side is basically me right now.
Oh God. I keep reading.
Trevor.
What? Okay, well, I'm Trevor. I was an apprentice enchanter at Twin Pass, hoping to train at the Furia one day. That's mostly it, I guess. I think that was a casting call line, actually. It's a brief moment of
Yeah.
silence. Saxon tries to break it.
So if I asked you to make my boots unbreaking, could you do it? Would you save me buying a new pair after all this walking?
Oh no, I can't. I haven't actually been able to enchant anything yet. I'm still learning. And that's also a line from the casting call.
Aw.
I'm thinking about auditioning for Trevor, too.
Okay.
I auditioned for Maxwell first.
This
Gray
next
line.
one.
Gray line.
Saxon's line
Gray
again.
line.
Saxon waits again, but Trevor says no,
Give it up for
no more
Trevor,
once again.
Give it up for Trevor, everyone. The enchanter.
The
I love
enchanter
his
who hasn't
sarcasm.
enchanted.
Oh my
That's like
God.
saying, that's like,
Denny, you're a farmer, right?
I love his
Trevor is the
sarcasm.
enchant.
I love him.
Trevor is the enchanter who hasn't actually enchanted. That's like saying, all praise to Inspiration, the Songs of War animator who never animated Songs of War.
Reanimated everything.
That is so true.
That's true.
Oh,
Oh
dang.
my
I hope he's watching this
Still
video
laughing,
so he
though.
can laugh at that. I mean, not watching it right now because it's not live. Okay, Saxon's line. Yeah, my entire family too. We supply much of the food for Hyperia and Diamond Heights. What, you supply the entire city with food?
Dang!
Dang.
Buddy!
Pinkleson Farm must be
I
big.
thought I recognized your
Yeah.
surname. I'm sure you remembered mine. I have to keep
Dear
reading
Lord.
Allister in this
Shut
voice.
up.
Lord.
Shut up,
I
Allister.
will.
Right?
I'm trying to make him sound annoying because I hate him too.
Yeah,
You're
'cause
doing
we all
After the
hate him.
casting call
Nailed
lines.
it. I hate him.
Yes, I hate
Denny glares at Allister and gets up and leaves. Allister slides closer to Abigail as she looks a bit confused.
Oh,
Well, I'm a bit
God.
concerned.
Oh no!
I am
So,
concerned.
Abby, are you ready to... Okay, I can't read
Well,
this
no,
if you're
I've
all
already read it.
screaming in the
I know,
background.
No.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
Abby, are you ready to become the first Ender Queen to rule all of Ardonia? Well, no, because the Ender Knights don't rule Ardonia anymore. That's not how it works.
No.
Dude,
I'm gonna slap you
get,
with a history
get
book.
it together, man.
Infin
Exactly.
Allister. He's basically the Draco Malfoy of Songs of War.
Allister is it's Draco Malfoy. Yeah,
Oh
he
my
is.
God. Oh my God, no.
We're not gonna get
Infin,
through
your
this
line,
scene if we keep clapping like this.
Infin, you're
Okay,
like,
okay. I don't plan on ruling Ardonia.
The Ender Kings have always ruled, well, at least until King Rendor stepped down and created the Six Kingdoms. Yes, exactly, which
What?
means they don't rule anymore. That's like saying the British still
Exactly.
rule America after giving them independence in the Revolution.
Bruh.
Wasn't that a good
Big
thing?
brain.
The people rebelled for years in order to have free kingdoms.
Yes, it was, Abigail. Thank
Exactly.
you. Ordinary people don't know what's best for them. Shut up!
oh my word.
Oh my
It
God.
hurts.
I hate you. I
It-
hate you.
It
He's
hurts
being
me
manipulated.
physically to read this person's lines. Ordinary people don't know what's best for them, Abby. That's what I help. Ordinary people don't know what's best for them, Abby. That's why it takes a strong leader to rule them. As soon as Rendor gave up his power and retreated into the end, the Nether army attacked. The Great War would never have happened if it weren't for him. Okay, shut up.
Interesting.
Well,
Just
then.
shut up.
Interesting.
And you know what?
At
The
least
Great
we know
War would
something
never have
more
been
about
won if
what
it wasn't for
happened.
him either. Like, it literally said,
Allister can
thanks to the
discern,
Tidesinger
right?
and the Ender
Right?
Knight forces, they were defeated.
Yep.
It
Exactly.
implies that the
Allister
Ender
can
Knight
discern in a
forces
pit of
were a
fire.
huge help against the Nether.
Exactly.
Exactly. Get dunked on.
Keep going.
Abigail turns away and thinks about it. Alistair scooches
Oh,
close.
goodness
Don't think about it.
gracious.
Shut up.
No, stop!
Stop, Alistair. All right, Chris Hansen's about to appear and say, "All right, Alistair, why don't you just take a seat right over there?"
I hate this line.
I
so
can't.
much.
This
I
sucks
hate
so
it.
much. I hate
I
this.
hate it.
Excuse me. Oh my
Please help
God.
me.
Next line.
I hate it so much.
What?
Stop!
End me.
God.
Why? Abigail
Read the
turns
lines.
away and thinks about it. Allister scooches closer. Luna looks up and growls lightly. Perhaps you're... I hate this. I can't do it.
God.
I feel bad for Chris
Just get
Musto
through it,
because
get through it.
he auditioned for this character, even though he's really good at it.
Oh
Ah!
my God.
Oh,
Perhaps
Lord.
you're putting too much pressure on yourself. I can help with that. Allow me to rule with you as king and queen. Oh my god. I hate this. I hate this character. This is my
No.
least favorite character in the
Rip
entire
that.
season. Who came up with
She's
this guy?
clearly uncomfortable with good reason.
Dear Lord.
Demonetize, demonetize.
Jalkar is better than this guy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You know what? I don't even hate Jalkar that much. I actually kind of liked him
even
until
hate
episode
Jalkar.
7.
I
I like
Jalkar.
Jalkar.
I love
It's not a fair
Jalkar.
comparison.
Yes.
I like
Alright,
Jalkar
Infin,
until
you're
at
lying.
least episode 7.
Infin, you're lying.
I can manage on my own.
Yes, Abigail.
Yes, that's right.
And I
You
thought that
tell him.
I thought that people shipping Abigail and Jalkar were bad. Now imagine the people who are going. I don't even want to say this.
Oh,
Allister looks after her and
don't
puts
know.
his hand on
Please
his chin
don't
as he
mention
thinks.
me. Demonetize.
I wish that it would be so awesome if Saxon made a remark about this right now. I wish he did.
Imagine if.
Just please.
Imagine if.
Abigail
just keep
finds Denny
going.
chopping wood. Is it? Oh, I almost read the line by accident. I've lost my brain cells from reading Allister.
Infin. Infin.
Is everything all right, Denny? You kind of just stormed off there.
Oh, this is a casting call line again. Sorry, I can't stand Allister. I feel you, bro. I relate to this character.
I can't stand him.
Yes.
Abigail turns
Everyone who
back to
hates
make sure
Allister
Allister
say
isn't near. All my
Is
I
Poseidon.
all my homies
Yes,
hate
I-
Allister. All my homies hate Allister.
No, he sucks,
Abigail.
honestly.
No, he doesn't have a point. Shut up.
Don't defend him.
Alright.
He does not have a point.
I mean,
Abigail, come
Do you
on.
not
I don't
the
agree
amount of
with him, but
fallacies in his
he has a
arguments?
I
I've
don't know
seen
who
better
else
from the
he
guy on
hates.
Reddit who
Just
told me
keep
that
reading.
color with a U is not an acceptable spelling.
Just keep going. Just keep going. It
Not
doesn't
that,
help the 3
he's a
people on
Diamond
this call are
Heights.
Canadian.
What does that mean? He's a Diamond Heights?
Bruh.
Denny struggles to find a way to describe Allister without swearing or coming across as insulting. Me too. I relate to
Oh,
Denny
poor
so much
boy.
in this scene.
Exactly. Same. I relate to that.
He's a Diamond Heights person. I saw the pendant around his neck when he first arrived. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
I'm a bit
Just keep
confused. Pinkleson
Probably
Farm
because
has
he's
always done the
arrogant.
hard work to feed people like those in Diamond Heights. Yet somehow we stayed poor and they just got rich. Wait, isn't Milo Diamond Heights?
Oh, dang. Milo. Bro.
Oh.
Okay, but he's like
Damn,
1
Milo's
billion
better-
times better than Allister, so...
True.
Yeah, yeah.
Yet
keep
somehow
going.
we
What's
stayed
the
poor and they
Diamond
just got
Heights,
richer. And they're always looking down on us. Like we're no different than our farm animals. I've been to his house before. I saw the dragon egg on display. Of course it hatches for him. Man,
Oh,
Allister's
dang.
like a snobby, spoiled rich person then. And I thought he was just an idiot.
Milo's 10
And a
times
creep.
better. He's like Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy, he
We
is...
don't talk about
honestly,
that.
I don't even...
For the right person.
I at least
We don't
kind of
talk
like
about
Timothy
that.
after, like, the most recent chapters of
Yeah.
that fan fiction.
Yeah, but
I hated him at first.
We-
Better.
We
I
don't
cannot
talk
see
about
myself
that.
switching my opinion on Allister at this point.
Keep going, Infin.
Dragons have always been known to hatch for the right person. Maybe there's more to him that we're not seeing.
Maybe.
Always look for the good.
Alright.
Okay, I at least appreciate that Abigail is trying to find something good about him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He's trying.
Abigail's
Yeah.
like such a sweet person, honestly.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, you're probably right. Sorry, I don't mean to come across as a problem. You're not a problem, you're expressing good concerns.
You're not
Aw,
a problem,
say the
Denny.
line.
I agree with Abigail. Suddenly they hear some
Denny's so
commotion back from the
troublesome.
camp. They turn and see the eye drifting again. Saxon's voice is heard faintly near the camp. My boy! Saxon. Making the scene better
Hey,
once
it's
again.
alive again.
Well, that sounds good. Rest
Oh,
up,
the
Denny.
army
We'll
at
talk more about this
Ferndale.
later.
Kyoshi's in this
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
My boy.
Nitsuke.
It's
Nitsuki's in this scene too. I can't stop
Gosh.
thinking of Natsuki from DDLC. Their names are so similar.
Right? Same.
Oh, God.
And they both carry
Same.
books. They're both book related. Think about this for a second.
Exactly.
They both have pink
Oh,
hair
God.
too, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
They both have like pinkish
Does she have
hair.
pink hair too?
I think so. I
Oh
checked
my
the
God, it's
casting call.
Natsuki from
There was an image of
DDLC.
her.
It is Natsuki from DDLC.
That means she's gonna like drink a
That
strength
was
potion, become buff,
perfect.
and beat up all the necromancers.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
Okay. Wait, I think you forgot to read Abigail's line after Saxon's.
Nah, I did.
Oh, I messed up. Cuts to the army at Ferndale. They're still preparing for the attack. Kyoshi rides up and dismounts his horse. He sees Nitsuki sitting to the side near a campfire. So how'd you become a chronicler, anyway?
I can read Nitsuki's, because I think I did
Yeah,
last
do it.
time.
Nitsuki looks up from what
Okay.
she was reading. There are books stacked up beside her.
Oh, well, I guess I used to read a lot growing up. Still do.
I love Kyoshi's voice, honestly. Nitsuki lightly waves the book she was holding to further her point.
Then I began to realize I could be the one writing these books. The only way I could please my family and still go on adventures was to become a chronicler.
She'd get along really well with Hawken.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine if they knew each other.
Oh my God.
That would be so awesome.
sweet.
I hope they do,
Yes.
actually. Becoming a chronicler is a big commitment, I imagine.
Certainly. In order to record history with minimal bias, we have to make few sacrifices. Family, most hobbies, a normal life.
This
Aw.
this is literally female Hawken.
These ones are turning.
And you were fine with
Exactly.
that?
No,
Kyoshi asks.
I seriously
Mhm.
see this dynamic growing right
Yeah.
now. Kyoshi and Nitsuke, they are basically the same person.
No, what?
Mhm.
How?
I've always
Exactly.
been.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can see
Their
what you're talking
dynamic
about. They
is
have way different jobs, but like it's kind of the same thing. They have big jobs, big
Mhm.
commitments. And they
They're
gave up a
big
lot of
commitments.
stuff.
Dynamic.
I feel like
I've
something
always
bad
been a
happened to
bit.
Kyoshi's dad.
Oh.
I almost
not
said
talk about that.
Kiroto because everyone in the fanfictions calls him
Let-
that, and I
let's
want
not
it to be
talk
his
about
name,
that.
but
Let's not talk about that. Okay.
Read.
his name is
always
not
been a
actually
bit-
official.
Okay. I've always been a bit introverted anyway, and the work I'm doing may live forever. Did they make the captain of the guard give up a normal life as well?
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Dang.
My eyebrows.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Kyoshi's line after that too. Kyoshi it's a bit more serious as Nitsuki touches on a more personal subject. No, Nitsuki. No, I wasn't forced to give up those things. That was my choice. Oh,
What do
I
you
love
mean?
that line. That's such a great line.
Oh yeah.
I love that I
What
love
do you
this
mean?
character too.
My boy.
Mhm.
David said Kyoshi's one of his favorites. I honestly have to agree with him.
Mhm.
Petition for
What do
Kyoshi
you
to
mean?
kill Allister.
Oh God.
Kyoshi comes over and sits by the
I will
campfire.
petition for that.
My father was the captain of the guard before me, and my grandfather before him. Obviously, they expected me to become the next and be married off to someone of equal wealth and power. But being the captain is challenging work, and with the increasing attacks from the undead and now the necromancer war, I just couldn't keep up with everything they expected of me. I gave up a normal life so I could focus on one thing, protecting Felden. If the necromancers beat us here at Ferndale and make it to Flora, I'll be the first captain who allowed our capital city to fall under siege. I
CCC
cannot
line.
and will not let that happen.
Yes, CCC
I
line.
intensified the line as he said that. I love
That's
this
good.
guy so much. He's like actually a great leader. Reminds the time that somebody said he was selfish on the BPS server, I actually lost my
was like,
brain cells.
You just
If-
riot. You just riot.
I should tell them to read the season 2 script now.
All right, let's just keep going.
Kyoshi frowns intently, and Nitsuki smiles at his resolve. Cut to the Knights of Ardonia traveling. Hubris walks toward the group from away. A messenger bird just flew in. Said we should stop by Ataraxia first. I think it's for you, Tidesinger. Is it Merlin? You mean we have to go back
I
the
don't
way
know,
we
maybe.
came? When can I get off this horse? Rhea glances at Greg, but mostly ignores his question.
Let's rest for the night. We'll head out at dawn.
I love the Knights of Ardonia too. I love them all.
Mm.
Cuts to night. Some people are relaxing. Greg is up cooking, clearly burning and ruining his food, but doesn't seem to care that much.
Oh God.
I love all the
Wow.
characters from season
Good
2
chef.
except Allister. All my homies hate
Yeah.
Allister.
Yeah.
Same.
Greg's
Same.
great.
Yes.
So, Greg, if you're one of the few, where are the rest of the Jaggafins? I'm improving my. I'm trying to improve my Sen voice every time. Wouldn't know. Never met another one. So, what about his parents? I've heard we originated from. Maybe
Yeah.
they died before he was like, and he was too young to remember them. I guess. I've
Let's
heard
just
we.
keep going.
I've heard we originated from one of the uncharted islands east of Ardonia, but I doubt we still live there. Why are there so few? I think my voice broke for a second. Why are there so few? Before the arrival of the undead, we were often hunted and killed by other species. What do you mean the arrival of the undead? Weren't they, like, always there? Or
I guess not.
why was that?
Mm.
We're a warrior species. Fighting and killing fills us with adrenaline, as well as the necessary energy for evolution. A Jaggafin only lives to be around 10 years of age unless he fights and kills enough, in which case he will evolve to the next level and live another 20, and so on. This process eliminates the weak Jaggafins and allows the strongest to live well over 100 years. It's actually
Fascinating.
awesome idea for a species. Jaggafins are actually really
Yeah.
cool. So before the
True
undead
that.
arrived, I lost my Sen
Yeah.
voice for a second. So before the undead arrived, you had to kill the other species to survive? Exactly. You can imagine why we were hunted in return. Once the undead arrived, we found we could satisfy our needs by killing them instead. Jaggafins have been Jaggafins have been known to face hundreds of undead in order to guarantee an evolution. You said you were class 2. How many classes are there in total? 4 from what I've heard, but it's unlikely we'll live that long anymore. There just aren't enough undead these days. Join the Felden War.
Hubris.
Yes, hubris.
Hubris.
You could kill the Deathsinger.
Dang.
Rek needs to join the Felden War. That's how he can guarantee to live for like thousands and thousands of years.
Right?
True.
Now that might do it, but I'd be a fool to think I could defeat the Deathsinger. You would be, but like, hopes, man, dreams.
He had Magnerite in a chokehold. Like.
That, yeah, he did, to be fair. Could the Deathsinger even kill a Magnerite without songs? Because they're literally immune to weapons. Maybe not diamond enchanted weapons, but iron weapons at least. Actually, if it's not diamond enchanted weapons, then he could still be the Magnerite, probably. He may be powerful, but he's not invincible. If you put a sword through him, he'll bleed just like anyone else.
True that.
You'll recall he only killed 3 of the 4 old masters. Aegis Nestorus, the master of my clan, survived. The Deathsinger was too weak for Aegis, or it was no, it was Achillean who intervened.
Wow.
Tidesinger, speak up.
Tidesinger, who had been standing a bit to the side, grimaces slightly and walks to the side around the camp. But
I love the Tidesinger.
But didn't he appear in Nestorus colors? Only the master of a clan can initiate an Ardoni into that clan. Some folks believe our Aegis may have sanctioned Ingressus.
Yeah.
Rumors and lies. Aegis Nestorus would never have welcomed the Voltaris into our clan. The Deathsinger used dark magic or other trickery to appear in their clan's colors. Okay, 100%, I bet it actually was the truth. Aegis Nestorus sanctioned him.
I am not going to say anything.
100%.
I am not.
Aegis Nestorus was the only one to show sympathy to him, right? Remember that.
Yeah.
Like, out of the 4 masters. That's why Aegis Nestorus is the best of the Great War Masters.
Shush.
Sen, having fallen out of the conversation, begins turning out the conversation, when suddenly the Tidesinger approaches. Mind if I sit with you? No, sorry!
Oh.
Why?
You said the line.
Mind if I sit with
Bit
you?
shy. Yeah, sure. Tidesinger sits down beside Sen. Now, don't do an Allister move and scooch like 10 times closer to him.
No. Okay. I must confess, I'm feeling rather lost as of late. I was hoping someone could expand upon what I've missed these past 150 years.
A bit shy again. I don't know if I'm qualified for that. I botched that line so much. I don't know if I'm qualified for that.
Did you know? Before they called me the Tidesinger, I was a fisher from Nestoria. I had never used a song in my life until the war.
Did he join?
Oh my god.
Because that must mean that the Achillean was a dedicated fisherman until the Voltaris stole his fishing gear!
Stop.
Oh my god.
You mean the Great War?
The Great War. Is that what they called it?
The Tidesinger appears lost in memory for a moment before recompositing himself. Recompositing? No, that's a Blender thing, sorry. Before recomposing himself and returning his attention towards Sen.
We have much in common, you and me. I would like to hear the history. Aww.
Sen sits more comfortably with newfound confidence. Alright. Well, everyone believed you and a Deathsinger were killed. The Great War ended, and for a very long time there was peace. Or so I've heard. About 15 years ago, Cydonia attacked Carfin. Or was it the other way around? Sorry, I only learned some of this recently myself.
Then tell me about where you come from. I gather your name that you were raised in Sandaria?
That's right, Sandaria. There is nothing quite like it. Ataraxia's floating islands, the Forest of Concord, Crown Peak's peak. They're incredible, but not like home. Rhea turns her head to listen, unknown to Sen. And then the Voltaris came after the Prime Song and destroyed my village along with everyone in it, and I was alone. Rhea turns back, looking sad again. The Tidesinger waits a moment and mentally prepares his response. In the middle of his next line, it fades back. The Igneous hurriedly returning to Maxwell's house. There was no sign but the Tidesinger's voice. I'm going to try to do the Maxwell audition voice in this part, actually.
Mm-hmm. I as well lost my closest brother to the Deathsinger.
Wait, what?
Oh, it still has the Tidesinger's voice on it.
I can't say anything. Okay.
What do you mean you can't
Let me
see
continue.
anything?
I can't say anything, okay?
Okay.
I feel 10 times more bad for him now.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm not
Tidesinger's voice is actually going
I'm not
over
gonna
this
say
scene, I believe. Can you still say his
I
voice?
am not going to say anything.
Nem,
okay?
just read the line.
Let me read.
Just read the line.
Just let me read this.
I'm telling you to read the line.
Okay. All right then. God. I as well lost my closest brother to the Deathsinger. Since then, I have traveled to many strange places and seen unimaginable things. Yet everywhere I go, there is a presence of evil. Before you can fight for what you believe is right, you must first learn and understand what is wrong. Otherwise, you may be destroyed by or even become the very evil you sought to fight.
When Igneous gets to Maxwell's house, he finds the place destroyed. What? He's probably dead, isn't he? And everything ransacked.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know.
Bruh. Maxwell, man's been having a tough time. He hurries out of that house, but Magnerite guards surround him. The music rises and cuts out suddenly.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I swear if Maxwell is dead, I have less voice work to do. The Ender Knights arrive at their next destination and find a ruined entryway. The two dragons fly down and land beside them. The Ender Eye is hovering near the entrance. Abbigail takes it. What sort of person lives in a place like this?
Yeah, I don't think anyone lives here, Trevor.
Looks like our dragons are sitting this one out. Wait here, Thunderdome. I hate this guy. If I have one more line I have to say from this guy.
My existence.
Thunderdome nods. I actually like Thunderdome. I hope he rebels against him. Thunderdome nods. Luna looks over at Abbigail worriedly.
I'll be fine, Luna.
Abbigail holds Luna's head in her hands, then goes indoors. She misses Sam, I think. Thunderdome looks at her somewhat sad, which worries Luna. Cut to them inside. They're walking through the stone hallways. No, another Allister line. And me. I know what this place is. It's an Ender stronghold. A few of them were built around the world thousands of years ago, before the land was even known as Ardonia.
Galleous told me we would be going to the end, a different dimension.
They stop when they arrive at the center. It looks like he was right. Shows a portal in the center of the next chamber. Cut to them surrounding it.
So which one of us is going to enter the creepy portal first?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's not going to be you. Trevor and Saxon make a great duo.
Yes.
Saxon smiles.
I'm guessing it's not going to be you either.
So Denny jumps into the portal. Why? He's the casting call describes him as the shyest person in the group. They stop for a second.
Did Denny just...
Oh well, second isn't bad. Trevor.
Oh god.
And then Trevor jumps through next, and then Saxon jumps in as well. You know, Abbigail, there's never been a female Ender Knight before. Perhaps there was a reason for that. Okay, so now he's sexist, isn't he?
You jerk! Wow. You jerk! How dare you say that to my girl?
How dare you?
How dare ye?
He's literally sexist.
We don't
Alex-
talk about that.
Allister looks towards Abigail, who is a bit worried. Shows Luna outside, feeling a bit anxious and worried as well. Allister jumps through the portal.
Why are
Please?
they leaving their dragons?
I mean,
When they're going to the end, right?
they're literally gonna fight
Let's
a
just
dragon. Is
talk
that,
about
like, not
that.
gonna be a mental problem for the other two? Unless they're not gonna fight a dragon. I guess it might not be, like, the same. Allister jumps through the portal,
Right, guys.
and luckily,
We've only
he
gone
missed
through
the
one
platform on the end and fell into the void, never to be seen again.
No,
Nope, that's just what I wanted to
no.
happen, sorry.
Nice.
guys. We
Abigail
only
jumps
finished one.
last, and the camera follows her as she goes between dimensions. She lands on the ground under a small structure. She sees the others nearby. She walks over to them and stands beside them. Camera turns to reveal them all overlooking the end. To be continued. Season 2, Episode 7.
Yeah.
And we're still on
Yay,
episode...
Death Singer
Okay,
I
Death
love
Singer
how we only now finished
lines.
episode 6.
Scene begins in Nether.
Yay.
Camera
Death
pans up to reveal
Singer.
Nether Fortress and moves through Fortress, approaching the throne room. I'm pretty sure that King Kronos might have died at this point.
Nether.
Let me just read. Okay.
Yeah.
Many years ago, your father and I formed one of the greatest alliances any world has ever seen. With our combined strength, we nearly conquered all of Ardonia. I come here today seeking to rekindle this alliance.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay, so
Ooh.
Pythis was Kronos' son, apparently. And he is now the Ender King. Sorry, not the Ender King. What am I?
Nether
The
King.
Nether King.
The Nether King.
Clown moment.
Okay,
Clown moment.
so that means that TDH is gone inaccurate again. King Kronos should
Let's just
technically
keep
be
reading.
dead, but, like, who cares?
Nether.
The Death Singer is standing
keep
before the Nether King, Pythis, who is slouched lazily in the throne and appears to be more concerned with his battle axe in the conversation at hand.
Bruh.
But you didn't conquer Ardonia. No, I hate that voice, so I'm gonna try again. But you didn't conquer Ardonia. You lost the war. The Nether forces withdrew and the Voltaris were defeated. Back then you had 3 prime songs. Ingressus, now you only have 1. Pythis finally looks up toward the Death Singer. The Death Singer takes a few steps forward.
Your father, King Kronos, recognized the strength in...
The Angel of Death lands in
Angel
front
of
of the
Death.
Death Singer, protecting Pythis. My father was a fool. Pythis gets up out of his throne and strolls down the stairs past the Angel of Death, past the Death Singer, and to the view overlooking the Nether City as he talks. He retreated like a coward when we were on the brink of victory. I'm not sure about that one. You were on the brink of defeat. He was a disgrace to our people and to my family name. After returning to the Nether, I put my sword through him, and so that a coward would never rule this kingdom again.
Oh my god!
So that
Wow,
explains why he's still alive in TDH, because he won the war. Pythis wouldn't have had a reason to do that.
Yeah,
So
there
now
you
I
go,
have a
see?
reason. Thank you, script.
Yep.
There you go.
As he says this, the camera shows
Alright.
another Netherin who is standing slightly outside the throne room and listens in. Unknown to the viewer, this is Volcanus. I think from the casting call, I read this guy is his brother, I think.
I love this dude so much.
I love him.
Volcanus.
I love him
Also,
so
he's
much.
apparently a good guy.
Yeah, let me just keep reading.
I love it
That
when
is
there's like a
pleasing to
good
hear.
guy who's. I love it when there's a good guy who's like part of the bad, organizations. Like, I would hope there's like a good guy Voltaris too. I hoped it was Lucidius, but David said he wasn't actually supposed to be any importance to the story, just like a moral thing for Abigail.
Okay. That is pleasing to hear, King Pythis. As you may know, I have no interest in ruling the overworld. The kingdoms are in turmoil. The Ender Knights haven't been seen in years, and a faction known as the Necromancers have diverted their attention. Now is the time to strike. Fight with me and help me reclaim the Prime Songs, and in return I promise you the Nether will rule the overworld once more.
Pythis says nothing. Instead, he continues staring out at the Nether City and at the occasional wither drawn by his presence. He turns back towards the Death Singer as he thinks about it. Cuts back to Igneous being escorted by Carfin guards. He's heading along the edge of the Great Hall. Things start getting a bit suspenseful. A Magnemite with a bow is briefly shown on the side of the hall, looking down. They are stopped as Borgin intercepts them and drops a pile of pickaxes on the floor in front of them. Terribly sorry. Let me just get these out of the way for you. Borgin's voice, and actually Chris Musto got the role for Borgin as well. His voice is actually really normal. I kind of expected otherwise. And Carfin Magnemite too. Move aside, you clumsy oaf. Not this time. One of the other 3 escorts suddenly turns his weapon on the other escorts and fights them.
What?
What just happened? The archer up top fires an enchanted arrow down at another guard, causing him to crumble to dust. So, like, Borgin's probably started a revolution or something. Borgin fights
Enchanted
Carfin
arrows
Magnemite
keep
1
them
and takes him
out.
out.
Borgin.
Igneous. Borgin! Sorry, I forgot his voice. Borgin! Borgin speaks in a hurry and urges Igneous forward. Hurry, there's no time. The tunnel has reached Sidonia and Malachi is personally overseeing the final steps. We have to act now in order to stop them. That's a casting call line. Wait, I gotta get my books. These guys tried to take my weapons, but I didn't have any time. But I didn't have any, so they took all my books instead. Igneous starts grabbing a small pile of books from the ground and that's unforgivable. Those are heinous crimes right there. Do not take Igneous's books. Igneous starts grabbing a small pile of books from the ground next to one of the dead guards. Borgin grabs a few and hands them to Igneous and they hurry off. Cuts them entering tunnel. A Magnemite is loading TNT into a cart, looks back up and gets attacked by Borgin. Okay, so where's Maxwell? Is he like dead? I think he's dead, honestly.
Let's just keep going.
You two, wait here and make sure no one else follows us. Sorry, nobody else follows us. Igneous and I will do whatever we can to stop them. Come on. Borgin hops in a minecart and pulls off. So Borgin has like an entire band. They have like a gang. Borgin hops in the minecart and pushes off. Igneous sets his books down and pulls TNT out of the next cart and sets it down. I love this plot line so much. I love the Magnerites. Watch my books, please. He hops in the cart as the other two Magnerites look confused. Borgin and Igneous are seen riding off down the tunnel. The two Magnerites pick up books and hold them in strange positions, unfamiliar with books in general. Cuts to the Knights of Ardonia arriving back in Ardonia. Sorry, not in Ardonia, my bad. The Knights in Ataraxia.
Bruh.
They stand around waiting for a second, and Galleous walks out of the blacksmith. I didn't believe the rumors when I first heard them. I think I failed. I can't do his voice for some. 1 second. I didn't believe the rumors when I first heard them, but here you are, Achillean Nestorus. I think I did the voice okay there. And Tidesinger looks at Galleous and recognizes his markings.
Your markings are familiar to my eye.
I think I lost your voice for a sec. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
Okay,
I can hear you now.
Oh. Okay, let me try again then. Your markings are familiar to my eyes. Your brother.
It cut out at the exact same time as last time.
Big brain. Okay.
Okay, try again.
One more time. Your markings are familiar to my eyes. You were a brother of Galleous?
It worked that time.
Okay.
Indeed. I'm Galleous Sendaris.
I am sorry to hear of your brother's death. He was a powerful ally and a good friend. Oh.
Galleous remains reverent and simply nods. He then gets down to business. I have a gift for you, but first I must know what truly happened all those years ago. Why did you vanish? How is it that you have not aged a day? I think I lost his voice again. I have a gift for you, but first I must know what truly happened all those years ago. Why did you vanish? How is it that you have not aged a day?
He's still a young boy.
Everyone turns to Tidesinger, having wondered the same thing, but being too shy to ask.
It is common knowledge that the Voltaris are masters of dark magic. During the final battle at the base of Mount Velgrin, I was pushed through enemy.
No, your voice cut off again right around.
Okay,
never mind. It's good.
Voltaris had created a. Dang it! Okay, let me just try again.
No, it's fine.
During the final battle through enemy lines and made my way up to the mountaintop. The Voltaris had created a portal, and I watched as the Deathsinger walked through it. With only moments to act, I followed him through. However, after exiting, I soon realized that the portal did not lead to another location, but rather to another time. It appears Ingressus sent himself forward to a time when his opposition would be diminished. The Enderites are gone, the kingdoms are weak, and he is gaining a head start on the hunt for songs. If it weren't for Thalius, the Deathsinger might have had all 4 prime songs. Galleous.
The rest of you are welcome to resupply and set up before you journey on. Achillean, follow me, please. Dang, I'm proud of that one.
Yeah.
Cuts to the shrine above Ataraxia. Galleous walks into the center and pulls out a chest and sets it down. Tidesinger looks down curiously. Galleous opens the chest and the light from the songs can be seen. These are your songs, Tidesinger, recovered from Mount Velgrin after you disappeared. I myself no longer wield songs, but I am honored to retain yours. And Tidesinger picks one of the 4 songs out of the chest and holds it.
Why do you no longer wield, Galleous?
Because I believe songs are responsible for many of the tragedies that plague Ardoni history.
I share that opinion. During the Great War, I refused to wield the prime songs against Ingressus. But songs themselves are not evil. I have used them to save many lives, and in an attempt to bring peace to this
Well,
war.
they're good if you're responsible with them. That's
You
my
should
opinion.
wield your songs once again, Galleous. The war has returned to Ardonia, and there will be no escaping it this time. I remember your name. You once taught many others to wield songs, including your brothers. Help us once again, and teach others what you know.
Galleous deeply considers his words, but says nothing. Cuts to the Knights of Ardonia leaving. Galleous watches, still contemplating seriously. Cuts to him in this blacksmith. Music is a bit somber and lonely. He looks up at the song and then walks over to his forge and gazes into the fire. He reaches some sort of conclusion because suddenly the music picks up and he takes his song down and hurries outside. Galleous has some character development here. Shows him at the shrine. He connects to his song. Back in the blacksmith, he uses his song on a block of obsidian. What the heck? On a block of obsidian. And tosses
obsidian into the forge.
That would be a great blooper.
Bloopers.
On a block of obsidian and tosses in the forge. I can't wait for more Carl bloopers. A serious working music plays as he prepares the obsidian. The camera slowly zooms in on the obsidian as it fades to the end. Back in the end, the Ender Knights are marching along in a group. Endermen all watch their progress with unblinking eyes. Come across a stronghold and overlook it. Here it is, the legendary domain of the Ender Knights. I hate this guy's line. What do you think? What do you think's inside?
Saxon.
Whatever it is, it belongs to us now. Come on, let's find out.
Cuts to inside. An Enderman scurries along. Endermite scurries along a pillar. Camera spins around, revealing the entry hall. They all look around, amused. I'm amazed.
Amused.
I'm still laughing about the obsidian mess up.
Just
oh my goodness.
Guys, in here, I think I found something. They go find Denny and see an armory.
Oh, no way!
I love Saxon. Obsidian armor, too heavy for ordinary men to wear. However, I'm making his voice so annoying because I hate him.
No,
Allister puts the helmet on. The helmet lights up and his voice is now a bit filtered and slightly synthetic. Chris Musto did a good job auditioning for this guy, actually. His voice sounds, pretty good, even though I still hate the character. The armor activates for Ender Knights and for Ender Knights only. There's certainly enough in here for everyone. Not everyone. I don't see that any would fit women. Interesting, isn't it? Shut up! Why?
Allister!
This guy sucks! Like, literally the worst person I've seen in the show.
What the hell?
Okay.
Exactly!
I mean...
Allister's the real villain.
Allister is... I mean, he's probably going to be a twist villain, honestly.
I can see it.
I can see it.
I swear. Look at him!
Keep reading.
Yes?
He's secretly a spy for the Nether.
Oh, God.
Okay, apparently I have to quiet my voice now. Because my dad is, making calls in another room. There's certainly enough in... Okay. Allister takes some armor and walks off. I'm definitely not cooking for him anymore. He has absolutely no respect. That's... I'm making the okay hand. You can't see it because I don't have face cam on, but I'm making the okay hand. Because that's a gamer move on Denny's part. Abigail just looks a bit sad.
He's right, though. There isn't any female armor. Maybe I was a mistake.
No, he's the mistake.
Oof.
You're not a mistake, Abigail. When you arrived at my farm, you told me I was someone special. You gathered everyone, all the Ender Knights, and look where we are. We're at the end. Denny and Abigail are, a supportive duo here. I love how Abigail supported him, and now he's supporting her.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Abigail looks up and smiles. Cuts back to Ferndale. A few guards are walking around the outskirts. Suddenly, the bushes start rustling, and the guard get worried. Who goes there? Alec, it's me, Lucan. Lucan comes out of the bushes wearing half his necromancer attire. Lucan, where have you been? Kyoshi's gonna what did I just say?
Oh, God.
Lucan, where have you been? Kyoshi's going to kill you when... Lucan interrupts, very assertive and serious. Listen, I don't have time to argue about what rules I've broken or what sort of trouble I'm in. Necromancers aren't attacking Ferndale. They're heading straight to the capital, and they're almost there. That's actually a line from the audition trailer, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you even know this? Lucan, I have to take you in. Kyoshi needs to hear this from you. Alec draws his sword. I can't, not until I get her back. If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me, which I'd prefer if you didn't. No, what? Lucan, what are you doing? Just tell Kyoshi. He needs to know this. Kyoshi has to know. Okay, well, Alec will tell him anyway, so...
Yes, Alec.
He clearly cares about
Lucan looks towards... Duh. I don't... I don't blame him for going back to get Nika, but like, can he not at least tell Kyoshi that they're preparing the wrong place and they're going to like screw up the war if they don't heed
Alec
this
told me
advice?
that.
Like, it would be
Come on,
if
Alec.
Lucan does not if Lucan or Alec does not tell Kyoshi this, then I seriously question everything.
Alec will.
Alec will tell him anyway. So Lucan looks towards Alec, who slowly lowers his sword. Lucan hurries back into the woods, cuts Kyoshi at a table looking over some battle plans. The evacuation is complete. We fortified the perimeter, but the mines have been quiet. Too quiet. They should have attacked by now. Kyoshi, no, you wasted all your time! I can't blame him.
This poor boy.
Alec, come
Alec
on.
runs in and interrupts. Captain Kyoshi. Lucan just arrived at camp. He's been undercover with the necromancers, and he says they're marching straight to Flora. Kyoshi's eyes widen. He looks back at the map and furrows his eyebrows as he thinks hard about whether this is true or not. Kyoshi, pack what you can. We ride to Flora immediately. Music becomes intense as they load up and ride out of Felden. I'm panic reading right now, just saying. Back to the end of the tunnel in Carfin, Magnerites are loading TNT into fissures in the wall in order to detonate beneath the city. Maxwell versus Malachi fight when a Magnerite at the end of the track pulls TNT out of a minecart and pushes the minecart forward. Suddenly an empty minecart appears. He looks into it confused, and another slams to a stop behind it, and he raises an arm in defeat and walks away. Camera moves to the edge of the tunnel. Borgin and Igneous are walking. There's no way we can take them all on. Fortunately, most of the TNT has yet to be placed. Our only chance to save the city is to detonate it prematurely.
What?
I used the TNT to destroy the TNT. Borgin pulls out a redstone torch. Now wait just a second, Borgin. So wait, no. Sorry, I messed up his line again. Now wait just a second, Borgin. Let me talk to them. I can try to dissuade them from this plan. And if they don't listen, then I'll be the one to detonate the TNT. No, is he gonna sacrifice himself? Igneous!
No.
Please tell me no!
No!
Igneous takes the redstone torch. Don't
Just
worry,
keep
I'll be
reading.
fine. I'm good at talking.
The idea.
He is. He
No.
is. He's really good at talking. I agree.
Just keep reading.
We all have to admit he's really great at talking. Igneous smiles and winks, pats Borgin on the shoulder, stands up, and walks out into the clearing. Hello there. Good day to you, gentlemen. I love doing Igneous' voice. It's so fun. I can say that again. I love this line. Hello there. Good day to you, gentlemen. Malachi turns and sees him approaching. A little small for a Magnerite. Ah, yeah, that's because I'm not from around here. I was born outside of Carfin, and I've spent my life as an outcast, being bullied and mocked. And that's because you're a tiny runt. Why didn't you stand up for yourself and fight back? That's not how it works. Igneous is a bit surprised by the rebuttal and takes a moment to collect his response. And because we shouldn't be fighting. We need to learn to coexist with those whom we share Ardonia with. Malachi now sees even more weakness in Igneous. Coexist, scoff, and give others a weakness to exploit. Working together is not weakness. We shouldn't be blowing up Sidonia, we should be making peace. I'm reading it in a casual Igneous voice, even though it's supposed to be more serious. A few of the nearby Magnerites step a bit closer as they realize he's against them, and Malachi holds a hand to stop them before proceeding. Peace made us complacent. Peace made us weak. When I took Carfin by force and rallied the Magnerites to fight, our drive allowed us to destroy Sidonia and save ourselves from a slow doom. And now again we have grown weak, so look around you. Malachi motions to all the TNT around him. The other Magnerites which had been placing the TNT are mostly stopped, watching the two discuss. In moments we will destroy the city of Phaethon? From below.
Phaethon.
Sidonia will retaliate, and Carfin will defeat them once again, bringing us back to glory. I can't let you do that. Malachi smokes.
Yes, Igneous.
You can't stop me either.
No.
I was actually hoping we could, talk it out, negotiate. I think it's time to show you how real Magnerites negotiate.
Oh.
Sets out an Uno game.
This
Takes out an Uno game. Alright, play me. Malachi begins walking towards Igneous as the other Magnerites watch from their positions elsewhere in the tunnel. Igneous begins walking back slightly as he becomes worried. Okay, I wanted to do this anyway. Igneous draws his redstone torch and places it down at the beginning of redstone fuse where it strategically positions himself during the conversation. Malachi runs over and hits Igneous. Grunt as he is hit.
Oh, the boy.
I do not know how to do an Igneous grunt. Igneous falls down and Malachi turns around watching as the redstone current hits a repeater and is delayed before moving on. God damn it. Repeaters! I'm actually kind of like a redstone enthusiast, so I know how all this stuff works.
Yeah.
He knows he has to simply get out ahead of the current and remove a repeater to block the stream, so he begins walking towards it quickly. After taking a step, however, he is tripped as Igneous grabs his foot from behind. Grunt.
Yes,
Malak,
Igneous.
this is such a, I love this. Malachi kicks Igneous away
Yes,
and he gets back
Igneous.
up, but Igneous gets up as well and throws himself at Malachi.
Oh,
Boxing time.
oh,
They begin seriously
oh.
fighting and Igneous tries to keep Malachi from
no,
catching up to the current.
no.
Some of the other Magnarites begin running away down the tunnel. Why aren't they trying to stop the current?
Let's just.
Finally, Malachi
No,
starts
Sanae,
seriously beating up Igneous and
Sanae,
throwing
don't
him around.
scream.
No,
Sanae,
Igneous!
don't you dare scream.
He
Don't you
eventually
dare
punches
scream.
so hard that Igneous' arm breaks off and crashes to
Don't
Igneous'
scream.
body. What the heck? What the?
Don't scream.
I had to
Do
stifle a
not scream.
scream. I had
Do
to
not
stifle a scream
scream.
so that my dad wouldn't get mad for me screaming so loud. There's a moment where things slow down and Igneous... I lost my voice for a second. And Igneous catches his breath as some magma drips from where his arm used to be.
Oh my gosh.
Malachi, what have you done? Catching breath in pain. Malachi walks over to a head of the redstone current and kicks away a repeater, breaking the stream. Igneous sits
Oh
upright,
no.
attempting to slide away helplessly as he props himself up against a pile of TNT behind him. For someone who
Oh,
thinks too
no.
much, you didn't really plan this through, did you? Igneous looks sad and slowly pulls out his redstone torch once again, in pain. I have one last idea. Igneous places the redstone torch beside the TNT he's leaning against, causing it to detonate immediately. No!
Oh God.
Igneous! No, please tell me he's gonna live. Please tell me he's gonna live. No!
He ain't living.
The camera backs up as the entire room explodes and all the TNT detonates. Morgan watches as a bright light appears at the end of the tunnel and an explosion shakes them. Igneous! No!
Igneous.
Up above in Phaethon, a farmer is tending to his
I
small,
knew
rugged
this
farm
was
when
gonna
suddenly
happen.
the quake shakes him as well as a large hole explodes inwards near him as the tunnel collapses. The farmer staggers backwards on the edge of the hole, narrowly avoiding falling in. The entire city would have been blown up if he wasn't quick enough. Morgan stops
Oh,
running as the
dang.
explosion settles. He turns and sees the smoke and fire from the aftermath. He looks sad as he mourns the death of Igneous, but then turns and continues away down the tunnel. Unless Igneous isn't actually dead.
Nope, he's dead.
Come on.
Can you
How is
confirm
he
this?
Not dead?
He's dead. Yeah, we can.
How is he not dead?
God,
How would he not be dead?
that
Yeah.
sucks. I'm like, I won't cry because I don't want to sound weird to my
There are
family,
tears in
but
my
like,
eyes, but they are not falling, and I hate myself.
I'm not.
I knew this was gonna happen. I was like
Igneous.
100%
He was
certain
like,
Igneous
he was
gonna
one of my
die.
favorite characters.
Yeah, I took Sanae's soul, so she can't cry.
He was one of my favorite characters. Imagine what Morgan has. Morgan's gonna have to explain his descent too, isn't he?
Oh
Let's
my
just keep
word.
reading.
No.
They never saw each other again.
I just hope that
Yeet.
Morgan becomes the new
No.
Igneous.
Okay. No. He basically painted a death flag on himself when he said, "I hope we'll see each other again," because that
True
just
that.
proves you won't.
True that.
I think
Alright,
we
let's
will,
just keep reading.
Igneous. That send line hurts me. Jeez.
Oh.
Cuts back to the end. Ender Knights are walking along. Danny, Trevor, and Saxon are in full armor except for their helmets. Abigail is still armorless. The worst thing that could happen right now is Allister being a jerk again. Right after this, they're in the main hallway with openings along the floor
Not gonna
leading
say
down
anything.
into the void. At the far end, Allister stands. In front of
Not gonna
Allister
say
sits the Ender Crown on a pedestal. He's going to try to take it, isn't he? And betray Abigail, I
I'm not
can
gonna
tell.
say it. Not gonna say anything.
Here it is, the crown of the end. I think I failed at his voice this time, but like I don't care about him at all, so like at this point. He continues to stare at it. Camera cuts to back outside. Luna is looking worried and Thunderdome smiles more. Thunderdome, you should like betray him.
We don't
Back
talk
in
about
the
it.
end,
Just
Abigail walks forward a bit, away
get
from the
out of
other
the
Ender
way.
Knights and stands further in the middle of the hall, facing Allister. Oh wait, no. Infin, this is your line.
No.
Infin, say it. I still can't believe.
Sorry. Abigail, give the Abigail. Allister, give the crown to me.
Allister picks up the crown and turns around with it, then stops. Why should the crown be yours? Why should there be a queen when we can have a king?
Yeet.
Well, because she's a lot better of a person. Allister places the crown on his helmet. The crown does not illuminate, which is unknown to the viewer at the time.
Oh.
He then starts walking down the hallways towards Abigail. I will rule Ardonia as the ancient Ender Kings once did. Crown Peak will again be our throne, and the kingdoms will submit to my leadership or be destroyed.
Goodness.
Also, that line, why should there be a queen
Dang.
when we can have a king, is basically, I think that was a casting call line as well. Denny draws his sword and stands beside
Denny,
Abigail
don't
defensively.
die.
Please don't kill Denny or Abigail.
Don't hurt Denny,
Don't hurt
Allister.
anyone. Can Saxon, like, throw a potion of poison at him right now?
Please.
That'd be amazing.
You have to go through us first, Allister. It was Abigail who brought us together, and it's her we follow. A crown isn't enough to make you king. Man speaking facts. Allister stops walking and frowns at Denny's defiance. You should have stayed on the farm, Denny. It's the only thing you've been good at. I'm trying to read his voice way more seriously now because it seems really serious.
Yeah, it is.
That was also a casting call line. Abigail walks up beyond Denny and stands further in front. Allister. Oh, no, sorry, that's your line, Infin.
Allister, we won't let you do this. A war is coming, and we need to fight alongside Ardonia, not against it.
And then another casting call line right here. Allister walks a bit further and stops, now face to face with Abigail. You are so naive. The people of Ardonia will never fight together unless we make them and kill those who refuse. I don't think that's how it works. There was a slight pause of the music as the music hangs. Allister stabs Abigail through the chest with his sword. Okay, fun fact, I actually knew this was going to happen. Because somebody said it on the Inspiration Discord.
What?
Someone actually said this would happen on the Inspiration Discord, so I was like, that's going to happen.
I am not going to say anything.
But I'm pretty sure she also survives this. Pained noise as she is stabbed through the chest. Allister kicks Abigail off his sword and she falls off into the void to be continued. Plot twist. So, this is actually a really clever thing to do because think about what happened in episode 4 of season 1. The end of her dream. What happened to her?
True.
Think about it for a second. Think about it. She fell into a void.
Like a parallel to this scene.
Yeah, it's parallel.
It was a vision of the future, probably.
In my mind now.
Something like that. But I think Abigail survived.
Can we get F's
Season 2, episode 8.
Igneous and
yeah,
Abbigail?
Season 2, episode 8. Opens with a shot of the wall. I can't believe I actually knew that Allister was going to stab her because someone on Inspiration server said it. Well, and they said it in general and not off-topic spoilers, the channel where it was supposed to be said. So, great job. Opens with a shot of the wall between Sidonia and Carfin. A small group from each stand apart on either side. Borgin walks out first and stands in middle, Magnerite on either side. The Sidonia leader gives in and walks out as well, 2 guards with him. Hassan, I hope you've come to explain the attack on Phaethon. The true attack never took place. The previous leader of Carfin, Malachi, had planned to detonate over 100 sets of TNT beneath Phaethon to incite further war between our kingdoms. But there are many of us in Carfin who want this hostility between our nations to end. Our 2 nations to end. It was the action of one brave Magnerite, Igneous, who sacrificed himself and prevented the attack. So because one of your attacks failed, you want us to make peace? I want us to make peace because the time for civil war has long ended and many in Carfin are starving. To ensure our trust, we offer you these ores so trade may resume as it once did. The 2 Magnerites place chests and open them, revealing ores and diamonds. Sidonia official waves to his 2 guards, who takes the chest. You burnt our farms, salted our fields, and transformed our kingdom into a desert. If you think this will bring peace, you are mistaken. No, I don't expect us to bring peace, but it's the start of something greater. Carfin and Sidonia must be allies once more if we are to be victorious in the wars to come. Borgin turns and leaves, and the Sidonians withdraw. Cuts to darkness. Ender energy can be heard, and the scene fades in. Endermen are looking down at the camera. Abigail slowly opens her eyes and sees herself surrounded by Endermen and Endermites. There's an Ender crystal with an energy floating towards her, healing her. Okay, so the same guy who posted that on the Inspiration server said she had plot armor because she survived a stab to the chest. First of all, you actually can survive a stab to the chest if you're treated immediately. I looked this up. Second of all, End Crystal. That's not plot armor. That's something that actually is healing her.
Mm-hmm.
So, did they read the script? Maybe.
Just keep going.
One of the Endermen holds out her sword. Abigail leans up and takes it. No offense to the person who said that, by the way. I'm just pointing this out. I'm not trying to start an argument. One of the Endermen holds out her sword. Abigail leans up and takes it and looks around to see herself in a strange shrine-like area off to the side, struggling to get up.
Poor Denny and the others.
Did they die too? I mean, they obviously wouldn't have just submitted to Allister, right?
They watched her fall, though.
She frowns, looks up, and looks toward. I hope Saxon like hit him with a splash potion of poison or something, or anything that slows him down. She frowns, looks up, and looks towards the main island where she is going to go next. Cuts back to the end stronghold. Abigail returns to the overworld. Luna and Denny are waiting. Abigail? Denny runs over and hugs Abigail. Luna holds her wings around them both. Abigail is still looking a bit dazed and out of it. We all thought you were dead, but Luna wouldn't leave. Somehow she knew you'd be all right. Abigail looks up at Luna, looking down at her. She reaches up and caresses Luna as she nuzzles her head against Abigail. This is a sweet scene.
So sweet.
Allister took Thunderdome and flew off to Crown Peak. We tried to stop him, but I don't think the rest of us were chosen as Ender Knights for our fighting abilities. Saxon and Trevor are on their way to Crown Peak by foot. Abigail sits down on the rock, still silent. Denny notices this. Abigail, are you all right? Abigail squints her eyes a bit as she realizes the unfortunate truth. Infin, go.
All of this is my fault. I'm not even sure I was meant to be an Ender Knight, Denny.
I saw you stabbed through the chest, and yet you survived. The End chose you, Abigail. Luna chose you. Well, it was because of the End crystal, that's why. Abigail smiles a bit. They're quiet for a moment. Luna turns around as she hears someone approaching. The other two look up. You can definitely make a case of saying this is plot armor, but I would honestly say it's a good case of plot armor. It's not plot armor isn't always a bad thing.
No.
No, it's not.
The other two look up, and Ardoni is walking down the road toward them. Stop right there. Are you friend? Sorry, I failed to get his voice.
Galleous?
I pronounced him like I said him like an adult. He's like a teenager. Stop right there. Are you friend or foe? A good friend, I hope. Abigail stands up, surprised at his appearance.
Galleous?
I see you have found the portal to the end. What exactly has transpired?
Galleous reminds me of Dumbledore. I have no idea why.
Galleous is basically Dumbledore? Yeah, kind of. And Thalius might also be Dumbledore if Tigran is Voldemort.
One of my knights took the crown.
Or was it Deathsinger Voldemort?
And is heading towards Crown Peak with the intention of ruling Ardonia. There was no female armor, Galleous. I'm not even an Ender Knight.
That remains to be seen. Oh my god, I love that. I'm so satisfied with that voice I just did. I told you, there was one person left in Ardonia who can work obsidian armor.
This is Gandalf. What must I do?
Galleous sets an ender helmet down on the rock with a loud thud.
Yes.
Take back the crown.
There's a reason he puts the obsidian in the forge.
Not the Osivian. Don't make that confusion. Imagine Abigail wearing an Osivian helmet.
He's the forger.
Imagine Abigail just wearing a helmet that has a mapped texture of Osivian's face.
Oh god. But yes, Galleous.
Cuts to Flora. Camera panning over the trees. The fight is already underway. Necromancers are throughout the city, and undead zombies and skeletons are attacking civilians. It is gray and overcast, and the undead are able to fight during the day. A few civilians are cornered. Kyoshi rides up on his horse and cuts down the undead and quickly dismounts. Our first priority is to protect the people. Evacuate everyone you can down the main road. Yes, sir. Alec hurries off as Kyoshi cuts down a few more undead and works his way upwards. He has a lot of fighting experience. He could beat Nika. Some fighting is shown around the city. A few Felinas use elytras to move through the open air between the trees more easily. I have to incorporate that for when the Flora battle happens in my fanfiction, actually. They land on other platforms and continue fighting. At the top of the tree, the Felden officials are being escorted by a necromancer and some undead. I am fairly certain that is not an escort by the government, because the necromancers do not work for the government. Kyoshi pounces up onto the platform and fights off the undead with his dual swords. Nobody told me he had dual swords. What dual swords?
When did he have dual swords?
He had a halberd. Captain, we thought you were in Ferndale. Okay, which one was the second? Which one was the? I gave unofficial names to these guys, but I forget which two is. I think 2 is the male one.
Yeah.
Captain, we thought you were in Ferndale. We have to get you out of the city. Those this way. Hurry. You think they didn't have guards protecting the officials?
Maybe they were
killed the guards.
Kyoshi cuts down a few more undead and works his way across the hanging walkways of Florida. Of Florida? What? Of Florida?
Oh god.
Of Flora. Has the beacon been disabled?
We don't talk about
We removed
that.
the lens. I cannot do that. Can you do the female Felden official voice? Because I'm not female. Then to
Infin,
be
you want to do it?
Nether Star, yes.
Someone do it.
Flora has been on lockdown ever since.
Okay, Infin did a good job. Good, that will at least Good, that will at least prevent these foul demons from attacking the other capitals. Suddenly he stops as the music cuts to a low boom. Ahead of him on the walkway is the Necro Lord. Behind the Necro Lord is
My
a zombie.
eyes widened.
2 necromancers and the indoctrinated Nika. What's the one zombie doing there? What's his
boy.
purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Kyoshi is one of the greatest swordsmen in Ardonia. We have nothing to fear, right? I feel like that's a jinx line. That I feel scared now. Kyoshi continues staring down the Necro Lord, who then turns his head slightly.
My
Go back the way
eyes
we came.
widened
Get to the
like
forest floor and
at
leave the
every
city.
head.
The Flora officials hurry off. Kyoshi takes a few steps forward and confronts the Necro Lord. Ah, Captain Kyoshi, you must. Did someone else do the Necro Lord last time? I forget.
No, you did, Necro Lord.
Ah, Captain Kyoshi, you must realize you are defeated. What shame you must feel to have allowed your kingdom to fall to such, what did you call us, foul demons? As Kyoshi spins his swords around and poses ready to fight. As long as I stand, so will Felden.
That is such a good line.
I love
That's
that.
so scary, though.
I love
That means if he
Kyoshi.
dies,
Maybe not. And Necro Lord takes a few steps forward. I'm so glad you see it that way. You're as courageous as your dead soldiers, but soon you will join them. This is not a battle you can win.
don't kill
Lucan's voice
him.
is suddenly heard from behind. He's not alone.
Yes!
Yes! Double team him.
Yes!
Yes! Lucan, still dressed as a necromancer, stabs one of the necromancers and kicks an undead off the walkway. Necro Lord turns around, but Lucan tumbles forward and Necro Lord turns around, but Lucan tumbles forward and past him. He stands up beside Kyoshi and removes his hood. These guys have had bad blood before, but now they're like gonna team up on him.
Yes.
Stiff. This doesn't make us even.
Let's go.
We can argue about my punishment later. Together they
Yes.
face off against the Necro Lord and Nika. Finally, Nika breaks his stalemate and pounces forward and down onto a lower branch. Lucan jumps down after her. We need Nika to be saved so that they can all three-way attack the Necro Lord. That would be so
Oh,
awesome.
God.
Scared.
Kyoshi rushes forward and engages the Necro Lord. A duel. Say it 10 times fast. A duel. I can't do it. A duel ensues, with each character fighting the other on 2 separate but nearby branches over a waterway. That would have been so
boy.
epic to animate. I won't kill you, Nika. Nika attacks, but Lucan blocks. Whatever they did to you, I'm going to fix it. Nika attacks again. Their swords lock in combat, face to face. I love the dialogue. Nika, listen. There's something I've been wanting to tell you. I should have told you before, but I couldn't. I think I have a pretty good idea of what it is.
Are you doing?
Nope, just
Lucan is about to say, the Fitness
Lucan.
Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult.
Stop.
Nika slows down a bit.
Lucan.
Her eyes start blinking a bit, trying to see through her wither effect. You need to learn how to swim. I expected something different. I mean, I think you can all guess what I was expecting, but that was not it. And it's still awesome. Lucan jumps forward and grabs Nika, and together they soar over the edge of the walkway and fall into the river below. They struggle and swim back to the surface. I bet the water saved her, right? Lucan waits for a moment, then Nika emerges beside him. Nika, angry, out of breath as she's swimming. Lucan! Lucan grabs onto Nika and helps pull her to shore. Panting, still out of breath. She lays down on her back on the shoreline and looks up at Lucan, and finally smiles for a brief moment, then sees Flora in the battle behind him. Suddenly, a bunch of undead and necromancers surround them. Cuts back to Kyoshi and the Necro Lord. They're fighting closer to the inner city now. Kyoshi lands a powerful blow on the Necro Lord, which angers him. Yeah!
Yes.
Get him!
Yes.
He remember
Kyoshi,
in
don't
my fan fiction
Don't
when he like
What?
kicked the
Sorry,
Necro Lord
sorry.
and it cracked his skull or
Read.
angered pain.
Shush.
Wait, what? Suddenly the Necro Lord spins around and fires a song at Kyoshi, which hits him and sends him flying back. Explain this right now.
Oh
Yeah.
my word.
How?
I actually had a theory.
Ah.
That the Necro Lord was Voltaris, and it turns out I was right.
Is he actually? Kyoshi remains on the ground but looks up at the Necro Lord, now understanding the red eyes. You're an Ardoni. The Necro Lord removes his hood and mask, revealing the face of an Ardoni.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I was.
Yep.
My name was once
I knew
Zan
it.
Voltaris.
I knew it.
You're Voltaris, but the Deathsinger was killed. Are you still doing his bidding? I once did, long ago. I was young, but observant during the Great War. Yes, I watched as the Nether controlled hordes of undead, giving purpose to creatures they fought mindless. And when the Nether retreated, they left behind an army, one which I spent my entire life learning to lead. This guy has a I thought that I put a lot of thought into my Necro Lord backstory.
It's okay.
Is my Necro Lord backstory like at least decent compared to this?
Yeah.
Kyoshi staggers
This
back
is
up. The
insane.
Necro Lord cocks his head sideways, confused at Kyoshi's persistence. And I have spent my entire life training to defend Felden from monsters like you, and still I stand. I love this guy. Kyoshi spins his poleaxe around
Okay,
again,
why does he
re-engages the
have
Necro Lord
why
with
does he have a
ferocity.
halberd?
Why does he keep switching weapons? Does he have like 7,000 in his inventory? I wouldn't doubt it.
We don't talk
As they
about
are
that.
fighting,
We
though,
don't
Kyoshi
talk
continues to
about
be injured and knocked back by the Necro Lord. No.
Please don't.
Finally, Necro Lord knocks Kyoshi's axe away, and Kyoshi is forced to fight with a small backup sword. Shortly afterwards, he's cut across the chest and drops the sword as well and falls to his knees. Lucan, do something! Look out there, Kyoshi. Look at Flora. You have
This is
failed
what
your
I
kingdom.
saw.
You are no longer standing, and Felden has fallen. Kyoshi squints in pain and is sad, knowing he failed. What the heck? Necro Lord picks up
We
Kyoshi's
don't talk
fallen sword and
about
looks
that.
at him, then stabs it into Kyoshi's back. Okay, he still has a chance of surviving if he gets treated. Kyoshi flinches but continues looking out at Florida. At Florida. What? This is the worst time I could
We
have
don't
made that
talk about
mistake.
that.
The camera holds
God.
behind Kyoshi, looking out at the city. The Necro Lord walks off camera. Fighting is seen all around the city. Kyoshi collapses forward, and the camera remains for a moment before cutting to black. Okay, so he might not be dead. There's a possibility. I don't confirm it or deny it. I don't want to know until it's actually confirmed by the script. Can you promise me that, Nemuri? Promise me.
Yes.
I'm so broken right now.
Me too. Okay, the scene opens back up to the forest floor. Prisoners are being rounded up, including Nika and Lucan. The officials are taken forward as they struggle to be free. Okay, so they were caught again. Oh, this is your line, Infin.
Unhand me, villains.
That was great. I love that.
Nailed it. Yes.
Unhand me.
You can't enslave us. We're official council members of Felden. Necro Lord arrives. There is no more Felden. The officials die. Necro Lord raises his staff and aims it toward the officials. The undead swarm and kill the officials. The music rises to replace the sounds of the undead killing. Lucan and Nika look at each other worried. Nika's hand reaches for Lucan. Is Yujuki going to come around or something? That would be nice. Apparently, she's like the captain of the army and not the guard. I actually looked this up in the casting call.
She brought a few. She sent a few troops with Kyoshi.
It definitely didn't help that much. So the officials are dead. Lucan and Nika look at each other worried. Nika's hand reaches for Lucan, and they hold hands as the Necro Lord walks over to them next.
Oh god.
Well, they're holding hands.
Oh no.
You two, I could use the powers of the Wither and indoctrinate you again, but I think my army is large enough as it is. The Necro Lord raises his staff, points it towards Lucan and Nika, who step towards each other, bracing for the end. Music fades out as the camera holds on them. They slowly open their eyes. The Necro Lord is still holding his staff forward, but the zombies have not moved. He looks around. Hold up! Pythus? What's he doing here? The camera moves out and reveals all the undead frozen facing behind the Necro Lord. The Necro Lord turns around. On the top of the hill is a wither floats with Pythus and the Angel of Death beneath. To be continued. Please! I hope... Don't tell me anything, Nemuri or Sanae. I just want Kyoshi to not be dead. Igneous is enough,
I'm not
okay?
saying anything.
It is season 2, episode 9.
Right.
We can honestly get to episode 10. I'm speed reading this. I thought we were gonna have to cut recordings,
we've
but
already doing this for 2 hours.
I thought we were gonna have to cut recordings, but honestly, I at least want to read where this ends up. Or do you want me to?
So
Or do you guys want me to stop on a cliffhanger? Actually.
Yes, leave it on a cliffhanger.
Okay, I'm doing that. I'm leaving on a cliffhanger.
Right now.
Yay.
I will do another recording of. We'll come back from another recording of this fairly. Maybe not very fairly soon, but like at some point.
Wait, what?
Yes, like I said, I'm probably going to make 2 recordings. One where we finish off. We're going to finish off of season 2 just like later, and then splice the 2 recordings together. I will do that.
Sorry, I had to go.
I will do that in my video editor. That was insane. I was laughing for a lot and then suddenly crying.
Oh yeah. I can't cry. I don't have a soul. And possibly Kyoshi. Like 2 of my favorite characters. I'm scared.
I too am very scared. There is
Way too much happened.
and to think that Fallius's death is like only not even in the top 5 for saddest scenes. Imagine how sad it would have been if Igneous's death was actually animated, or if Kyoshi's possible death was actually animated. The Necro Lord reveal was actually pretty insane.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I can't even. I'm so broken right now.
I can't feel anything. It's probably for the best.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to use AU rule for my fanfiction a lot now. I am not going to rewrite like 25% of the whole thing because I read the script. No way. I'm using AU rule on this.
Yeah, exactly. AUs exist.
So I am going to. So we will be back. I will. This is not the end of the video. This is the end of this particular part of the video. We will be back, and we will be reading. We will be reading the last 2 episodes of Songs of War Season 2. This was really fun, even though I kind of died at some point inside.
I am broken.
Thank you to everyone for reading the lines for me. I still probably read most of them, but it was okay because I loved them. Except Allister's lines. All my homies hate Allister. Holy hell.
Right? Exactly. He sucks. And
Allister is the worst character. I'm not joking.
It's so difficult.
We hate him.
Yeah, I hate him too. Maybe he will die by the end of the season. I'm hoping, or at least in the next season.
We can hope.
Please, I just please let Kyoshi be alive. Please.
Let Kyoshi be alive and have him kill Allister.
Or at least give him a proper farewell if he doesn't survive, okay?
This is flashback to. You know what? I was thinking from the very beginning, like actually before episode 10 came out, I was thinking that Kyoshi was going to fight the Necro Lord, underestimate him, lose, but Alex sacrificing himself to save him. And then he was going to have some character development, and I thought even in season 2 that might happen. And I was kind of expecting it a little bit, but I didn't. And so now apparently Kyoshi got yeeted by a Necrolord himself, unless he's actually alive. Let him be alive, please. If not, have Alec avenge him. Or Lucan. Anyone who's like his friend. I mean, I'm glad that Nika's safe. As well. I'm just gonna ask some questions. Who is your favorite character who was just introduced this season?
Saxon.
If it's not, if you say anything other than Saxon, I have so many questions for you. If it's anything other than Saxon.
Saxon for the win.
Does Achilles
all my
count?
homies love Saxon. Achilles was introduced in the last season, so he doesn't count.
Morgan's pretty great.
Worgen, I love Worgen too. Yeah.
Worgen's dope.
I need.
Hopefully Maxwell's doing okay.
A lot of people are gonna hate me for this, but I actually like Solomon.
I don't really care about him, to be honest.
Excuse me, what?
Wait, does he appear in season 3 or late season 2? Don't tell me what he does, but just say if he appears or not.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has the time psalm, obviously.
Yeah.
Yo, I was thinking there might be like him saying the drop might be foreshadowing, like the Voltaris. It would be funny if the Voltaris like came to his house and like pushed him over the railing 25 feet down, and then like he took out a ender pearl or something and escaped or died. Either way, the joke would still work.
I am convinced that they are going to push him off his.
That's 100% what's gonna happen.
Convinced.
I will be genuinely surprised if it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was foreshadowed so much just by mentioning the actual height.
Yeah, why would he mention the height?
How does this like?
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people are gonna.
I don't really care about Solomon, honestly. I don't hate him.
A lot of
I
people are
don't
gonna
like
hate me
him.
for this, but I actually like Solomon.
I know
think
you said
he's
that. You said
fine.
that.
I
I don't
think
really
he's fine.
care.
Oh, then y'all are gonna
He's
hate
not a
me later on.
He's not a carrot. Oh wait, does he like do worse things?
I'm not gonna say.
Depends.
I'll just say that you guys will hate me.
I
I know I do.
mean,
I already took your soul.
regardless
You
of
can't
your
cross.
opinion on Solomon, he's like
Dang.
at least 10,000 times better than Allister, and that's for certain. Can't argue with that. None of you can argue with that. Literally, take any character.
Good thing we stopped here, otherwise my
Frickin' Tigran is a better person than Allister. And he
Yes,
massacred
yes,
innocents.
100% agree with that. Even if he is a bit of a psycho, but still.
Even if he massacred innocents, I bet that... You know what? Allister threatened to do the exact same thing, didn't he? So, that argument works. At least Tigran isn't provably sexist.
Wow.
But it's so true, though. Like,
Wow.
his lines are just, oh my goodness.
He's great.
I had so much fun writing this.
So much fun. You love to hate. It's one of those characters
Tigran?
you love to hate.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, I love to hate
Allister.
Tigran. No, I don't
No.
love anything about Allister. I just hate him.
I just absolutely hate
I don't
Allister.
love to hate him, I just,
Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah,
Do you think I get
yeah.
any enjoyment out of reading or writing, or do I think you think I get any enjoyment out of reading his lines? Were you listening to me and at any point during this script?
That was hilarious.
It was. I was
Yeah,
trying to make him sound as annoying as
Oh my
possible
God.
because I hate him that much.
I was gonna ask if
Allister.
Tigran is a character I
gonna
love to hate.
Yeah.
He's a villain I actually like to hate, yes. Allister, I just straight up hate.
Yeah. But
The one thing that's good about Allister is that his voice actor is really good.
Yeah, but I was gonna
Chris
say,
Musto's
like,
a god.
ask if I could voice Allister if you didn't want to.
Well, how would
I
you
can.
voice Allister?
Huh?
Do
Oh, no,
Solomon
sorry.
shows
I
up.
thought you meant audition for him.
No,
I meant you
said
meant
that
voice him for the script.
If you can't read Allister, if you can't take it, then I can do it.
Because
I can actually take it.
Oh, yeah, you probably could.
My word.
Nem.
What?
Nem. Take Solomon when he shows up.
Yes, take Solomon. Do it.
Gladly.
All the people on my death guest
I
list
don't really know if I
so
trust
far
him
hitting it.
because
So far hitting
I
it,
should
yeah.
trust him because Fallius trusted him, but at the same time, he just seems naturally very shady.
Yeah, I never doubted him.
I still think he's really,
David
really shady.
He was a protagonist.
Well, Sanae,
A protagonist does not necessarily mean a good guy. Please,
Yeah.
there's a difference.
They called him a protagonist.
Yes, but protagonist does not equal good guy. There's a difference.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a common thing. It's a common misconception in literature that protagonist equals good guy. It does not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you told a story from the perspective of Tigran, that does not make him a good guy.
No.
Exactly. But that makes him the protagonist.
Yeah.
Imagine if Tigran was the protagonist of Songs of
War. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yes! I would watch this series to the end of the earth.
I already would watch the series, even if it wasn't. It's one of my favorite things.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
Songs of War told from a perspective of Saxon. The entire first season is just him dealing potions and messing around.
Oh my god, I would follow that to the end of the world. Yes, my boy.
I would watch like Songs of War.
You spend like solid 10 minutes just talking about memes after episode 8.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we need to get a break and then come back and do the last two. So, like, see you guys. Yep. Thanks to my friends for joining me. And thanks, as always, to David, RB, and Black Plasma Studios and everyone who worked on this. Because I swear, we didn't get the animated seasons. It would have been better than this, but this is still very, very good. I love the script. I love Season 2. Yeah. I think it's better than Season 1, even. I would like it more than Season 1 if it was animated, for sure.
It's still better than Season 1, even though it's not animated.
Yeah, well, in terms of dialogue, yes. And this is just without the polish. David said there would be polishing as well. So, like, imagine how awesome it would have been if it had been polished. So, I'm just going to, end the recording right here. Thank you for sticking around this far. We will be picking up right as we're ready. See you guys next time. Well, and it'll actually be like 1 second later because I'll splice these together. So don't feel like there's any wait. But for me, it will probably be like hours. So see you all, and thank you to my friends for joining me.
Yes.
I will see you all later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Badoosh.
See ya.
See ya.
And remember, F for Igneous. That is my last message to you all. Yeah, hey guys, it's me. I'm talking from post-production of this video, and a problem. It turns out you can't do more than 2 hours worth. Your videos can't be longer than 2 hours when you're exporting them in the editor I have. So, unfortunately, I had to. It's very unfortunate, but I kind of had to cut off the last 2 episodes, and I will have to make that a separate video. I really did not want to. It's just a pain in the side. Just a big pain in the side. Cannot possibly export more than a 2 hour long video. I never would have expected that. I have not used this site for long. It's WeVideo, by the way. I have not used this program for a very long time. I haven't been away from it for a very long time. I just haven't been using it for a while. No, that can be interpreted 2 ways. I have not been using it that long, is what I mean. Forgive me. I do not know everything about it, so I will unfortunately be ending the video here, and the other one will be continued. I will then upload another video in a moment, and you will likely see the other video if you go onto my channel. And yeah, so see you guys later in the next video. This is very disappointing to me, but okay, see you.